as they are going to try and farm this as long as possible.
It's a big spread of points to secure in the early game, but the team Gendarme, they're looking to shut down this elimination points factory. Want to see what's actually taking place at Fort Crumpet, though. Hicks, Combeck, looking to challenge Prism and Casper, but Prism will be the one to ultimately get the better end of this exchange here. Combeck eliminated, and that's going to send Hicks packing. Sure enough, Flixie and Chap, they're also looking to make very early rotates. Some of these teams, Takata, they kind of recognizing the fact that they've got to get a hustle on for these early elimination points. Prism and Casper, they're not going to give Combeck the chance to land. Another secured elimination just means that they're going to continue building up here. But Chap and Flixie, they missed their chance. They're just going to look to fall back.
For Harris, on the other end, has been in constant pressure since the start of this match, and when you think it's going to come to an end, it does. 5 eliminations for Podosai. Great way to start this match out for Asa and Podosai. I mean, they've got kind of a ways to go if they want to make that top 3 qual, but this is exactly how you want to start if you want to make it happen.
It's almost hard to keep up with everything that's been taking place, but Malabuka did scout Vexy, getting credit for that elimination. And now Vico, Malabuka, temporary pause, and their aggressive strategy. They found those initial eliminations onto iDrop and Marius, but it is a whole new slow of issues from Pixovsky. It looks like they're not the only ones. I mean, Vexy, Snozq, all taking notice of this duo that's kind of scrambling here at Slurpy Swamp. And as long as Malabuka keeps rebooting, he will continue to be a target for everyone else in the area.
Twek and Midro. I even see Chat Flixie close by. These are both duos that are looking incredibly strong to kick this tournament off in the top 3. Qualifying range for that Elite Series Championship land, but now they've been falling short in these recent matches. They're still just even a few eliminations or a decent placement away from getting top 3, but any devastating placement, and that could be the deciding factor of whether they qual or not. Chat Flixie, knowing this, capitalizing on any elimination opportunity possible, as Pixovsky might be on the receiving end here.
Gotta feel for Pixovsky also, because he's trying to create some space here, but he's leaving behind every single one of these crash pads, so it's all too easy for Chap to just follow right after. But that's all he had, was crash pad essentially. He didn't have a chance to really look back, try and shoot them out. Chap Flixie were determined to get that elimination. Pablo, Gino, similar kind of mentality here. They want to look for a fight, they want to get a little bit scrappy, but you see, it's Darm, it's Deemish, better just fall back, get a little bit more positional favoritism, and then maybe look to re-engage. Shark and Teeny, though, playing deep outskirts of Boom and Base now. They saw what Asa and Podosai were getting up to early on. 7 eliminations is a massive amount of points to secure by only the 4th zone, Takata.
Yeah, 16 duos left. The placement starts kicking in at top 12, so not even too close to that yet. And they've already kicked things off incredibly strong. This Deemish and Darm choosing to kind of just solidify a good position. Not as worried about eliminations, but they've still got a ways to go for that top 3. They're gonna need a big match. And it looks like they're setting themselves up for it.
It's been difficult though. I mean, even for some of these teams that we know what they're capable of doing in terms of fighting power, but Twek, Midro have stumbled upon the wrong duo this early. Doesn't seem like they're all that interested in fighting Darm and Deemish. Just outside that top 3 in that 4th place position on the leaderboard. They have had so much success playing off the south side of Steamy Stacks, but for Vico and Malabuka, they don't have any time to relax. They're just gonna have to go all in right now up against Chap and Flixie. this would be so detrimental to Chap and Flixie's game if they're eliminated right here, right now. But Vico, Malabuka, do they really have the loadouts to challenge this? All Vico really needs is to connect with this Morphite shotgun. And instead, the Shockwaves just bringing him past. Flixie finally gets a huge chunk of his HP here. And now that's going to be the confirmation. But Malabuka, same time, same story. Fragger v. Fragger here. Who's going to come out on top? But it's Chap, who's just a little bit less healthy here than Vico. So many builds, and Vico, he'll think better of it. He doesn't want to take the risk just yet. That's going to be one more lifeline extended towards Malabuka and Flixie, but Vico, he's looking to reaggress already onto Flixie. Chap just holding him at bay.
Vico's hungry, you can tell. He's starving. He wants more of these eliminations. Mappy, Lusha. Doesn't look like a full commit from these duos, more a back and forth. As not too many elims are on the board. Edge of zone here now. Have to figure out a rotate in. Are not putting themselves in any risky situation here, as the zone has pulled kind of closer to the steamy stacks.
This could be exactly what Kiro and Ping have been hoping for all day long, knowing that the competition's all gonna have to come directly to them. They have opted to just face up, relatively high position. They'll have a really good idea of where the flow of this lobby is going to be primarily coming from, and Sky Scroll directly underneath the steamy stack tower. Darkos and Minori still hanging nearby. I really do expect Sky and Scroll, though, to just continue to stick to their guns, play out their own games. It's been a little bit more passive, but when they've needed to pop off in those end-game circumstances, Kata, they certainly deliver.
Yeah, you can see they're 10 points ahead of Minori and Darkos at the moment, holding on to that top 3, but one game is all it takes to disrupt that leaderboard. Good news is they have once again continued to play incredibly consistent throughout the early and mid game. The end game is what they were struggling with at the start. But once they found their rhythm, they have now been playing incredibly well to maintain that top 3. Chat Flixie on the other end, we talked about it. They looked strong at the start, now have fallen short. One good game could be all it takes to put themselves back into top 3. And with 3 eliminations already on the board, this could be the one.
I was definitely impressed, though, by the level of discipline that was exhibited by Chap and Vico, because it's got to be so tempting to just want to establish, like, who's going to actually be considered the better fragger in that instance, and yet both of them knew, hey, if I go down right now, that's going to leave my duo in such a terrible position, potentially even ruin our chances at having a decent end game, and they just didn't want to take that risk. I think it's the exact kind of mentality that experience is certainly starting to showcase in their levels of play.
Argentini are leaders of the pack currently. They have played very aggressive once it reaches that end game. You can see with the 4 shockwaves in the inventory, even the Flowberry, they are ready to once again do what they can to take that high ground, but it is going to be difficult if the zone ends around here. Ping Hero, though, have decided to drop down.
The real success metric, though, has just been who's consistently been making decent placements in those end games, and we have non-stop seen the likes Sharktini, Sky Scroll, POTUS IASA now trying to throw their names into the hat for this one, but they'll have to be wary of where Sky and Scroll are currently situated. They clearly want to try and defend their position, not allow any sort of teams to get comfortable facing up nearby them.
Shocking!
A little bit of hillside strategies from Pablo and Chino, though. They don't have any eliminations, but can expect that to change at a moment's notice when it comes to these two.
7 zones appeared. Reboots are now disabled. With 16 duos up, this is where it starts mattering more. I can see Darkos and Minori too, still in the same exact spot for the past 2 zones. This duo, by the way, 1 placement away from being top 3. They don't have a single FNCS finals appearance. Similar situation to Twek and Midro, so it means everything for this duo right now, being just on the cutoff of
Nie pamiętam
qualifying
tego kwala.
to the Elite Series Championship land, battling for another
Nie
big
pamiętam
prize pool
tego
of $1 million, and
kwala!
even taking home part of the prize pool today. So I'm very excited to see if they don't let the pressure get to them, because they have more than what it takes to make it happen, and this is a crucial game for them.
It's less about letting the pressure get to them and more about
Czwarty,
what the lobby
nie
decides to do
pamiętam
to
tego
you
kwala.
instead. Pablo under heavy fire here by the entirety of the lobby. Sky Scroll also looking to see if they can be added to that count. They'll have to pull back for a moment. Forward, they want to try and establish a position more towards that front side of zone. But this is going to start to get real dicey for some of these other teams that are kind of trailing behind. Chino and Pablo looking to go to the opposite end, but they'll have to skirt by Deemish, Darm, handful of others. Pablo and Chino, though, they've gotten what they were after. Recognize the fact that there's Sato and Momsy a little bit underneath them. They might even just be looking to try and set up a play for catching a team rotating through the low ground off guard. They have a really solid hold on this current head position, though.
Yeah, the issue with this type of position in this format is they can try and get ahead of zone and it starts moving, but if they're not using a lot of mats, they have that risk with the shockwaves, the crash pads of players just landing right on them. So it's almost safer to kind of stay put and take shots at those players rotating in instead of trying to stay ahead, unless you're ready to use a lot of those materials, or there's a very prime position that you can get to. Darm and Deemish, though, are going to be the ones up above right now.
Not something that we're used to